What is up, Jefferson Multimedia? Let's look at how to start the Batman audiobook. Remember, this is a sample audiobook that you'll be editing in class, so you learn how to edit an audiobook while you record your own narration. Head to the post called Sound Effects for Audiobooks. At the bottom, you have two different audio files, Batman M4A and Joker M4A. These are all the narration pieces you're going to need. So I want you to go to each one. I want you to right-click on it. And right-click means look at your trackpad. At the top of your trackpad, there are two red lines. Click on the red line that's on the right, and you're looking for something like Save Link As or Save Source As. Click on that. You want to send it where? To the desktop. And let's just call it Batman voice. Click Save. You're downloading. Excellent. Things are working as they should be. Then right-click on Joker. Remember, look at the trackpad. Two red lines at the top. Click on the right red line. Save the link as Joker voice. Boom. Both are saving right now. Isn't that awesome? Let them finish up, and then I'll show you what to do next. We want to open up Premiere Rush. And this screen comes up, and does this take forever? Yeah. Once that is done, create a new project. When it asks you where you want to import from, click on your desktop. What are we looking for? We want Batman voice, and we want Joker voice. Click on Create. Now, you will see you've got Batman voice in one big chunk, Joker voice in a smaller chunk. You'll have to cut them up into pieces and do a jigsaw puzzle, put them together first. Let me show you how to make this stuff bigger so you can see it. So one of these buttons down here, is it this one? Yeah. And then what about this one? Yes! If you click the two buttons in the bottom, expand audio and control tracks, what it will do is it will make things bigger so you can see the audio waveforms. And remember how a waveform works is to make something bigger, what do? Use the slider. Every time you see a peak, that's me talking really loud. When it goes down here, that's me talking softly. One thing I've learned is this. We have to cut this thing into pieces. And the biggest problem we're going to come across is to move an audio track, we have to click in the middle of it and move the whole thing. If we click the beginning of it and we try to move it there, guess what happens? We're shortening it. We're cutting it in half. So you will make this mistake about a dozen times. Do you have to fix it every time you make it? Yeah. So let's cut this thing into pieces. The big thing I want to do is to make sure that sometimes we want to break. So we'll have talking and then we'll have the talking stop so we can hear the sound effect on its own. So it jumps out at you, right? Other times we'll want the sound effect underneath the voice. So the big pain in the with this is I'm going to be experimenting. Remember, I'm doing this the night before I teach it to you. So I may say to do one thing on Tuesday and then come back on Wednesday and say, hey, no, wait, we need to correct it, and here's how. Remember, the point is for us to have an excellent project, not for us to do an average project and then just be done. So I'll be learning this stuff as I teach it to you. One of the big things I want to make sure we do first is anytime you hear me breathing, like as Batman, because I'm doing that goofy voice, we want to cut out the breathing. So click at the very beginning. Remember, this blue thing is called your playhead. That shows you where am I in the project, what's going on. So I'm going to play it, and I'm going to see what's going on.
Activating the battering ram at the front of the Batmobile. I rev up.
All right. As I listen to this, there's a lot of background noise because I recorded it in my classroom while the heater was going. Let me show you a trick. Let's click on the track itself. Go up here. Is it in special effects? No, it's down here in audio. We're looking for reduce background noise. Try that. And let's get rid of everything before the first time he talks.
Activating the battering ram.
Boom! So what I want to do is I want to go backwards to right before he talks, right? What's the split command? S. What do I want to do with the stuff before he talks? Click on it and hit what? Delete. Then can I take the whole thing, click it in the middle, drag it over, kind of let go of it and see what happens.
Activating the battering ram at the front of the Batmobile. I rev up the engine and fly through the barrier, sending wood shards down the tunnel.
All right, so after that line, we want to hear the wood shards going down the tunnel, right? So what am I going to do? Boom. I'm going to hit S. Let's do something to make ourselves safe, shall we? Before we start, click on Joker, move him down quite a bit, like way, way, way down. So the first clip should say...
Activating the battering ram at the front of the Batmobile. I rev up the engine and fly through the barrier, sending wood shards down the tunnel.
So let's put a gap between the first track, because what are we going to need to put? A sound effect right there. What comes next?
Green arrows plaster the wall of the sewers that resemble a mental hospital. Arkham Asylum. I know it well.
All right. After that, I want to put a sound effect, so guess what? S. Move it down a little bit more. Okay, that little... Let's get rid of that. Remember the slider here? Move it to the left. It'll make it bigger. See that little hill right there? That's me breathing. Here's where I'll want to grab the beginning and move it to right at the beginning of me talking, yeah?
I decide to leave the Batmobile for a much quieter approach. Following down the hallways, I hear faint groaning in the distance.
All right, we want to hear Robin groan. So guess what? S for split. Move it just a little bit, leave a gap, because each gap shows you where the sound effects go.
I grapple through the ceiling to get a jump on whatever awaits me. Crawling through the vents, I find chattering wind.
Okay, there is a screw up.
I find chattering wind.
Do I start again with...
Crawling through the vents.
Yeah, okay. So crawling through the vents the first time is a screw up, yeah?
Crawling through the vents.
So I want to get rid of the first crawling through the vents. So move the cursor to before those words, right? S for split. Is this the second time?
Crawling through the vents.
Yeah. So I do that. I click S for split. I click on this to delete something. What do you hit? Delete. That's right. And then we can move this whole beastie back, can't we? Yeah.
Crawling through the vents, I find chattering wind-up teeth that attach themselves to me, biting into my armored glove. Breaking them off with my hand, I continue to the end of the vent, where there's a small opening. I see a figure.
All right. Now, this is where Batman sees Robin being tortured, right? Let's put a sound effect there. So guess what we do? S for split. Go to the end of the silence, S for split. Click the part in the middle you want to get rid of, and to delete something, what do you click? Delete. Now, you can see we've already split it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. How many more do we have?
I see a figure sitting, tied up to a chair. I activate my ID scanner to see that it's Jason Todd, the second Robin. Out of the dark, cackles Joker, hitting his hand with a crowbar.
All right, here's the first time the Joker speaks. So guess what? S for split. We got to move that down, and I'll show you what to do in a minute. All right, after hitting his hand with a crowbar, we need that first line by Joker. So, to get to it, would it be easier if I just do like this? Yeah. And then scroll down to get it. We just need the first line from Joker, yeah?
Well, my dear Jason, I guess the Bat never really cared about you.
So after the Bat never really cared about you, guess what? S for split. Then we want to take that Joker line and we want to move it, wrong way. We want to move it down. Is this hit his hand with a crowbar?
His hand with a crowbar.
Yeah. So we want the Joker line between these two Batman voice pieces. Should we take this and move it down to give ourselves more room? Why not? Then what if we just grab this? Can we scroll down and put him in place? Let's see if it works.
Tackles Joker, hitting his hand with a crowbar.
All right, it looks like I've cut the very end of the Batman line off. So how can I fix that? I grab the end if you trim too much off and just add it back, right?
Hitting his hand with a crowbar. Well, my dear...
Now with the Joker, let's click on it, let's reduce background noise, and let's trim the beginning off. Let's leave a gap for a sound effect.
The crowbar. Well, my dear Jason, I guess the Bat never really cared about you.
So at the end of that line, the only time you want to grab the ends is when a line is done. So don't trim off the part where he's talking. Trim off the quiet part when the talking is done.
Never really cared about you.
Like that.
Jason struggles to get free,
Yeah.
but the Joker continues.
The Joker continues, and then we have another dialogue bit from Joker. So let's click on S for split. We can trim off all the breathing before Batman talks. Yeah. We can move Batman voice down a little bit, maybe. Let's look and see. Yeah, there's plenty of room. So grab it where? In the middle. Scoot him down. And then we want to bring the second Joker piece down, right? Before we move it, can we cut out the stuff? Because he cackles at the end. Yeah. So we have the breathing at the beginning we can get rid of. Make this piece as small as possible, and it's pretty easy to move it down to where it needs to go. But the big thing, make sure you drop it between clips. Don't leave it like in the middle of the Batman. That would be bad. Or try edit, undo. Yeah, that does it. So don't drop anything over the top of something. Let's see. If I messed something up when I moved it.
But the Joker continues.
A gap, and then...
I'm sure that he has already replaced you with someone better.
And then a gap. Then we have the rest of the Batman right here.
Second thought, Joker raises his hand.
Did I cut the beginning off?
Second thought.
I did. So guess what? When you cut the beginning off, and you're looking for that low valley, because that's a breath, right? Starting the talk is when it ramps up like that. So can I just like that? Yeah.
With no second thought, Joker raises his hand and brings it down on Jason's skull, and there's a blood-curdling crack as I drop down when I realize I'm too late to stop it.
Okay, we need, guess what? A sound effect right there.
I use my enhanced suit.
Two screw-ups.
I used my enhanced suit vision to look.
So the first two times we do it, remember you can move the playhead to where you want it. Hit what for split? S. Click on the junk you don't want. Hit delete. Let's move it down so it's not quite such a big gap between them.
I used my enhanced suit vision to locate the Joker, but he's gone. I call the Batmobile down the sewers when I see something out of the corner of my eye. Rows of bright red bombs line the hull.
Let's do a pause after out of the corner of my eye. Let's put some kind of sound effect for the bombs right there.
Rows of bright red bombs line the hallways, and the fuses are lit. I scream and dive for Robin as the Batmobile comes screeching down the tunnel. The explosions send a rhythm of noise and shockwaves in a pattern down the sewers as the Batmobile drives over them all, but one breaches the hull and strikes me in the leg.
All right, when it gets hit in the leg, let's split it right there so we can add a nice crash. Why? Because it's fun. We almost finished? Yeah, we are.
Struggling to get out from under the Batmobile, I send it to find the closest opening. I scream when I attempt to get up because a steel rod has been lodged right below my knee. Fighting through the pain, I take Jason and I struggle through the sewers. The thunderstorm outside is brutal.
Let's have a thunderclap before he says the thunderstorm.
Struggle through the sewers.
So I'm going to make this a little bigger. I'm going to hit S. Leave myself a gap after struggle through the sewers.
I struggle through the sewers.
Yeah.
The thunderstorm outside is brutal as I drop to my knees with the lifeless boy Wonder in my arms.
All right, so those are our splits. Remember, I'm going to get rid of the gaps and the breathing before and after. So this is how we want to split it. Tomorrow we'll talk about background sounds and sound effects. That's all I got for today. Thanks. Bye-bye.